First, we start our opening ceremony, and it is my pleasure to invite our first speaker, the Swiss Federalist, Richard Barger, Research Innovation Council Delegation of the European Union to the Russian Federation. Welcome, Mr. Barger.
Thank you very much indeed. My name is Richard Berger. I'm Research and Innovation Council at the Delegation of the European Union in Russia. And I'm very pleased to be able to welcome you to this important and interesting meeting today. And I'd like to organize this of today's meeting to thank them for giving us the opportunity to address you. Briefly, I'll take a few minutes of your time. I think the topic of today's workshop, food safety, is something that obviously stands to reason, requires and at the same time benefits from strong international attention, international cooperation. That's something that you yourself will be addressing later on today. So I'd like to take the opportunity and say a few words about the general state of affairs of our cooperation between the European Union and Russia in the area of science and innovation, and also to say a few things about our main instruments to support research and innovation activities, including cooperation with Russia. To start with, I'd like to stress that in the European Commission and here at the delegation of the European Union, we very much appreciate and are grateful for the excellent working relationship we have with our colleagues and counterparts in Russia, both at the level of the government, but also in the academy sectors in the area of science, technology, development, innovation, and higher education. And in this sense, I repeat what my colleague Dirk Potier from the European Commission said this morning, but some things I think merit repetition, not least because repetition is the mother of learning, as those of us who are the older generations can believe. I'd also like in this context pay particular tribute to the Bach Institute of Biochemistry of the Russian Academy of Sciences, with which and with his colleagues we've been lucky to be able to work for many, many years. We appreciate the great contribution that the Bach Institute of Biochemistry has made to developing our cooperation with Russia in the areas of food, agriculture, biotechnology. For many years now, indeed, it's been a pioneer in many areas for finding creatively new approaches to cooperation with Europe and the member states. So our tribute goes to that as well. We're obviously also very pleased that today's event, to which you're all contributing in one way or another, is one of the flagship events of our EU-Russia Year of Science. The EU-Russia Year of Science is an initiative that was officially launched or decided at the EU-Russia Summit, the Presidential Summit, by Commission President Barroso and Council President Van Rompuy and Russian President Vladimir Putin in December 2012 in order to celebrate and highlight the very vibrant and dynamic and very positive relationship which the European Union and its member states and the Russian Federation have had for many, many years now in the areas of research, scientific inquiry, technology development and innovation, as well as higher education. This year was launched, this dedicated bilateral year of science was launched in November last year here in Moscow, and a really very impressive ceremony which the Russian government put on. We are grateful for the hospitality extended to the European participants. I think it is very important to stress, especially today, we would like to underline for everybody's attention that the cooperation between the European Union and Russia in the areas of science, research, higher education, and innovation have been developing very successfully. They continue to develop very successfully, and indeed they have been a very stable and strong pillar in the overall EU-Russia relationship, and one that has consistently made a positive and constructive contribution to it. Now, many of you will know, especially those of you who have been directly involved in this particular project or other projects that have been funded by the EU Framework Programme for Research and Technology Development, that Russia has actually been traditionally our most active and strongest international partner country in the EU Framework Programme for Research and Technological Development. And we very much hope that this will continue in the EU's new framework programme, Horizon 2020. Many of you will already be aware of the Horizon 2020 programme, which was officially launched at the end of last year, the first calls of which were published or pre-announced already in December last year. It is the biggest EU research and innovation programme ever, with a budget and current prices of almost 80 billion euros, spread out over the 7-year period from 2014 to 2020. The Horizon 2020 program is organized around different pillars. We call them excellent science and societal challenges and industrial leadership. The important thing, I think, for us to bear in mind in this context today is that many, if not most, of the areas of the sub-programs into which Horizon 2020 is structured will offer plenty of opportunities that will be announced on a regular basis through calls for proposals for researchers, innovators, companies, laboratories to participate, including in the areas of your particular interest, both in terms of individual team grants, in terms of academic and scientific mobility, and in terms of collaborative, multilateral, international research and innovation projects. At the same time, we know that analogous programs, similar programs, have recently been launched on the Russian side, which in many ways, in spirit and in structure, correlate well with our EU framework program, with Horizon 2020, and indeed we are now engaged in a very intensive and positive and encouraging dialogue with the Russian authorities to see how we can best use the programs that we have available on the European side and that are available on the Russian side to make them work hand in hand, in tandem, to generate new initiatives together. Importantly, I'd like to stress also that while some of the participation modalities in Horizon 2020 have changed for some countries as opposed or as compared to previous framework programs, the most important feature of Horizon 2020 is that it will be open for participation by anybody. It will be open to the world. The single most distinctive feature of Horizon 2020 when it was conceptualized was the recognition that science, process of scientific inquiry, is by its very nature, it's a truism, but it doesn't make it any less true, is a global process, it's a globalized process, and therefore the single most important point of any research, publicly funded research program should be not to erect barriers for European scientists to freely choose who they want to work with. So that is very well reflected in the program. It is open for participation, and we very much encourage our Russian partners to make use of the opportunities that the program offers for partnerships with their European counterparts. What we believe makes Horizon 2020 especially attractive for our international partners such as Russia is the collaborative character of the multilateral collaborative character of the initiatives which Horizon 2020 will support, as this will help to connect at every step of the way scientists and universities with business and industry, and of course the opportunities which Horizon 2020 as a platform will offer to market one's ideas and know-how and technologies internationally, and especially in Europe. As we mentioned, the first calls were already published in December last year. We would like to invite everybody to look at the calls and see what opportunities are in there for them. We'd also like to repeat the call or extend our call to all of you. We try to do this at every opportunity. In addition to the possibilities to actually collaborate scientifically, as you know, the evaluation and selection process of proposals that are being submitted to the European Framework Programme, now Horizon 2020, is being done on the basis of an international database of experts, of suitably qualified experts. We dip into that database that we build up and manage ourselves, the European Commission, to select qualified experts to review proposals. We have an open invitation to suitably qualified individuals to register themselves online in this database if they're interested in potentially being selected as to be evaluators for project proposals. That's very important. We place a lot of emphasis on the internationality of our evaluation process. And we need not only thematic area specialists, we also need specialists from industry, very important, especially now that more emphasis is being put on the innovation side of things. And we need also generalists who know about science policy, not only about science itself. Science policy process is also very important. I'd like to conclude by maybe just raising one example. One area in the very rich and diverse and dynamic relationship we have between the European and Russia that we would like to explore further is the technology platforms. Many of you are aware of the concept of European technology platforms that we've put in place in Europe. And we're very encouraged and pleased to see that similar initiatives have been put in place in Russia in many areas. And again here, the Bach Institute of Biochemistry has been at the forefront of some of these initiatives, and we think there is still a lot of potential to explore synergies and maybe a closer relationship between these initiatives on the European and the Russian side. So in this spirit, I would like to conclude by recalling that one of the purposes of the EU-Russia Year of Science, in the context of which this workshop takes place today, is to extend an open invitation to all the scientific communities or all the interested parties to put forward and submit their ideas or proposals in whatever way of how the very good relationship that we already have in this area could be taken forward in the years to come. With this, I'd like to thank you for your attention and wish you good luck and an interesting workshop today. Thank you.